Hello and welcome. My name is Danielle and I'm an ambassador with Rada Publishing House. Today, I'd like to welcome a very special guest with us, Raziel Arcega. She is a contributing writer in Infinite Cosmic Records, Sacred Doorways to Healing and Remembering, a book that was created by Maya Versanilla, also known as Maya the Shaman. I'd like to congratulate you as you've been chosen to contribute your testimony about your session with Maya. Maya the Shaman is the original creatrix of Infinite Cosmic Records, which is a powerful healing method that stems from the Lemurian code healing lineage. And it is also Maya's original healing modality, which makes it uniquely special. In this book, Infinite Cosmic Records, Stories of Healing and Remembering, it is also produced and published by Rada Publishing House. So before we get started, I would like to quickly go over a few testimonies of Maya's clients, and just to give you guys an example as to what people are saying, because this is more than just your typical method of healing. It's a very, very unique. And it's kind of one of those things where you are going into a bit of an adventure in lifetimes. And what I mean by that is it's a hybrid of, I would say, like a past life regression, Akashic record reading. And if you're familiar with Dolores Cannon's work, you'll kind of get an understanding of what I mean. Some people say it's like shadow work, or you're healing that inner child and working on that inner self and clearing and helping your ancestral lineage, which is phenomenal. And in some cases, really depending on your intention, you could really bring about something very unique to you, and not everyone walks away with the same story. But for the most interesting part, though, is that the Infinite Cosmic Records is a one step into more of like a cosmic realm, and the clients are able to experience a multidimensional reality outside themselves. It can be anything from an outer world experience, or maybe you're underwater. I mean, there's so many ways you can go through this multidimensional reality. So the Infinite Cosmic Records is also able to guide you and direct you with message via maybe your spirit guides. So it's really amazing. And others are saying in some cases, it's a little bit of a purge. You're releasing, and if you're familiar with ayahuasca, it's a lot easier to do a modality like this than the physical purge. But so anyway, these timelines are pretty amazing as far as an experience, and it's definitely a treat. I have experienced a session myself, and it is very outer worldly type. In my case, I experienced going to another timeline, so in an era, and it was a dimension I've never been a part of in this physical reality, so I thought that was pretty cool. With that being said, I would love to hear a little bit about your doorways, but before we jump into that, could you explain to us, when you went into your session, how did you begin with your intent? Well, what was your intention and how did it begin for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me share my experience with Maya. Well, when we did the session, I was talking about having to take away the blocks, the financial blocks that I couldn't tap into, because it's been years, and I think I've gone through like a roller coaster of experience, and I feel like it's just coming back and forth. And I said, I want to open this doorway, or I want to open something that would finally heal whatever trauma that is, or whatever it's blocking. And I know it's coming from me, from within. So I said, Maya, I'm open. I wanted to go deeper to the subconscious. What are those blocks, and hopefully we could find them and totally get that over with, or get rid of whatever it is that's hindering me from fully being abundant in this lifetime.
I love that intention because I think a lot of people can relate to that actually. So I'm
Mhm.
happy that you were able to go through that experience. Do you feel like you got your answers?
Oh, I think way way more than the answers that I could find out. It was just an interesting experience. Just like you had described, a little bit of cosmic, a little bit of past regression, and inner child work, and extra things that was written in the book too.
I know it's going to be interesting to read your chapter. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that timeline. But what doorways did you go through? And how many did you experience?
I think I saw about 3 or 4. It was just interesting. The last door popped up, you know, even when she wanted me to ascend already. But yeah, for sure there were 3, and each one was interesting to see and to experience, because it's totally unexpected. I don't know what, I really don't know how this healing was going to flow. It was all about visions and what I saw, and with the doors I didn't really know what to expect either. But then when I went through each door, I finally knew what it meant.
Mm,
And it's one of those doors was especially the one with the inner child. I'm like, oh my goodness, when I found out what it was and what that child was saying to me. See, it felt like it was a different person, but when it started talking, it was me when I was a child. And
oh,
it was like so out of this worldish that that I had to heal. And I felt that it was, it was really an answer to what I was asking for,
no, I love that.
because it came up and said, you know, it was very emotional too, because I felt like I went back to that part of my childhood that I haven't released yet. So,
Okay, so you
mhm,
got a chance to release like energetically too.
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Hmm. Did you
and
did you
go
remember
ahead.
what the door looked like on that one?
I knew it was, I think it was the orange red. I can't remember the color at this point, but I know it was kind of like the orange, the play. It felt like a playroom. So I
Oh,
went there, it felt like, there's a lot of experience when you go in through these doors. If it's sad, it's, the emotion. So the first thing that I felt in through that doorway was fun. Like, this is a happy place. This is nice to, I would love to play. And the kid was actually asking me to have fun.
oh, I could see that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like the kid was asking me to have fun. And yeah, I wrote the whole thing about that.
I actually kind of relate to that. That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Not to talk about too much, but like there is a doorway that I experienced, and the very similar message was to just play. And I think
Hmm.
sometimes what we forget is there's so much simplicity to
Hmm.
being, and like it's not as complicated as we make it. And so with
Hmm.
things simple, we can be tapped into that type of elevated frequency that will bring us that abundance and happiness and the things we're looking for.
Right.
So, what
Right.
a perfect message. What was the other doorway? The second
The
one?
other doorway, actually, that was the second one. The first one was a little darker. Darker in a sense where it looked like the dungeon that I was on. I mean, if anybody heard about the first healing I had, I was talking about being being trapped. There's parts of me, I think, went to slavery and stuff like that. So in
Mhm.
this doorway, it felt like it was already the past. But walking through it was kind of odd, not eerie. It wasn't scary. It was just kind of like there, a dark place, but it's already empty. Feel the lesson that I was feeling at the time of that healing was like, that's already in the past. Leave it there. Let it go. It's already done.
Mhm.
It's already done, and whatever had happened then was already forgiven. Like, I already forgiven that part of me that went through all that trauma. um so it was nice to be back in that place. I kind of felt like I was there before, but I didn't see it as big as I did at this time. And it just felt like, oh, I was once sitting there. It felt like going to a museum in a sense. Now I could, as I think about it, like
Mhm.
you going back to that place, but that place wasn't what it is. You're just looking through it,
Right.
to what's left of it.
Yeah, very visual for you, right? The
Yeah, very
experience.
visual.
Did you have,
But
out of
yeah.
curiosity, did you have any audio that you can hear? Because someone had mentioned that before, and I hadn't heard that. I was kind of curious. Like, were
That
you?
I could hear the place where I'm at.
Yeah,
Um, well, when we experience this, it feels like when you're talking to yourself, like your higher self is sending you messages into your head. Not really talking, but
yeah,
it's kind of like talking.
yeah.
You hear the messages.
Okay, but you don't like hear like the land and the leaves. Like you don't hear like actual audio.
Um, when I really don't know. I felt like it's a dream.
Yeah,
You know, now that you ask, I I thought I did, but I'm not so sure right now.
yeah, yeah.
I
I know it was kind of
Yeah,
a
it's like for me, it felt like it was a dream. Like you're going into
Mhm.
this place,
Yeah,
and whatever it is, I probably did, but I didn't pay attention to it. Like
right.
stepping on a rock or whatever. But there's the audio part is like this conversation that you have in your head.
Hmm.
That's very unique.
Yeah, and it's very emotional too. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
the third door, what was the third door for you?
Oh my goodness, the third door I remember because it's a red door. Something about love, and
Um,
that when I did the healing, it was that part of me that I started to open up, and I think this was the confirmation again that um, the the emotion or the healing or the energy of love needs to come back to my life, and with that being there, again, it's a confirmation.
yeah,
Mhm.
wow. It's so interesting to hear.
But it's interesting how
Yeah,
it came about and what I saw and what it was and the messages that I got there.
what what were your timelines? Do you remember the eras, or if it was like a planet, or were you?
Well, even before going to the doors, we went through so many different things. I went to Lemuria. I went to outer space. I went to kind of like this in between limbo space. So well, Maya is really guiding you through the process, and she would say, okay, let's get out of there because I don't know where that is. um, and just pull me down to where it's a little bit more visible and a little bit more grounded, or
Mhm.
like earth, right? So once I came back down, that's when we started to start going to through those doors, or yeah.
Wow, that's so
But
interesting.
it's an exploratory healing.
Mhm.
Never experienced it before, but it's very interesting for those who are familiar, just like you said, with all the shadow work, the inner child work, the past regression,
Mhm.
Dolores Cannon's work. I just started reading her, so I kind of saw the reference to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's literally out of this world experience.
So excited to read your chapter. I know that you probably have a lot of more information tied into it. So,
Well, at least it's in the book, a lot of the details and a lot of the conversations that
mm,
went on it. So it's interesting.
wow,
I Yeah.
that's going to be interesting to read because it's so different from what I experienced. I mean, everyone's obviously going to have a different experience, but I'm really looking forward to reading about your chapter and um,
I
hearing.
look forward to yours.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just really phenomenal because I didn't get that opportunity to experience the out of the world kind of cosmic But I know that there are more doorways, guys. That's the interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. It's not limited. This is the infinite cosmic record. So you can
Mhm.
go to Maya as many times as you need to heal whatever it is you're looking to heal, or just out of curiosity. Because the truth is, there is a doorway for every intention. And we're not, we are infinite human, our soul's infinite. So I think it's amazing. I'm sure there are timelines that was something that we dove in, I can dive into, but I'm looking forward to hearing from your perspective because it's so unique to every person. So, but that being said, how was your overall experience? You kind of did touch on this a little bit, but how was your experience working directly with Maya and how she guided you through the process and what it was like to be facilitated with her by her?
Um, well, I met Maya a while back, and I've done different healings with her. This is the very unique one that she did, and a lot deeper than any of the experiences I had with her. Although she, as a shaman or a Lemurian healer, she already is such a powerful being. She she knows, and she has a lineage of healers, so they know what they're doing. They know how how to guide you and how to make the experience um how do I say it, it might not be, I would say, pleasant, but at the same time, it's for your own healing. So each experience is different. So each healing that I had was different, but it's very deep because whenever I have the intention, that's where we focus on. And from what I've learned from her, it's, actually, when you mentioned doorways, she mentioned before, it was like an onion peel, that every time you have a healing, there's always that peel, onion peel, to go deeper and deeper into to releasing a lot of that stuff. And I
Mm,
think now we're in the timeline that everybody's a little bit more conscious, or a lot more conscious, getting into this spiritual realm, and it's nice to have somebody like her to guide you, to have that experience, to even tap into places that you don't even know deep inside of you. It's pretty much us, right? It's pretty much us within ourselves. The answers are within ourselves, but she is the one who can guide you and facilitate that healing, so that you
mhm.
can go deeper, deep dive into your subconscious and your, whatever it is that's blocking you. So
Wow.
it's been a wonderful experience. It's always worthwhile. I keep going back, when I feel like I need some kind of deeper work.
Yeah.
She's a phone call away, like Maya.
Well, that's so
I
beautiful.
need to,
I
yeah.
think how you explained that was actually perfect. It's so accurate. And she's so nurturing, she has a good way of guiding, like you said. And
And
that's,
full of wisdom. When you talk to her, you learn from her. There's a lot of things and perspectives that she would share with you, and it's really um, sort of kind of like your mother too. She would tell you, this is what you have to focus on, or what type of work you have to do after the session. And it's nice to that she also guides you what your daily life should be, or what type of exercises or whatever, that will guide you through that utmost healing, going back to our utmost self.
I love that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Gosh, well said.
Hmm.
How was it for you when you were working with Rada Publishing House and when you had to submit your chapter? How supported did you feel?
I love the fact that they are there to guide you. So if you have any questions, they're phone call away or email, and they provide a lot of resources, meaning the editing, the if you need help with writing, they're there. If you need, you don't even have to worry about the editing part, because the team has there's a group of team behind the scenes that work on to get that finished product, the book, beautiful covers, I would say, right now, and beautiful, beautiful people. A lot of the authors in the books um, are so experienced and have a wide variety of experiences and backgrounds and healing stories that I myself need to read all of them. I've read some of them, but not all of them. But it's interesting that Rada is always there to open up another opportunity for other authors to be part of uh, these collection of books. And I know it seems we were talking about also the marketing part, so there's a lot of collaboration with that too. They find ways to do the marketing and events outside of that to provide the authors to get out there, be out there. So
Love
it's
it.
nice to collaborate with them with that.
Yeah, I love it because the amount of support that you receive is really unlike anything I've seen before in this type of industry. And it's so specific to the type of people that are drawn to
Hmm.
um, working with them. Not everyone gets that hands on, and they really do shine in that category. So I absolutely agree with everything you're mentioning.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. Would you recommend others giving it a try, the Infinite Cosmic Records? And what piece of advice would you give to someone who's never experienced this? How would you?
Ab- well, absolutely, especially if you are in this type of genre,
Mhm.
um, who would like to share their stories or healing modalities. I know there's other books that are coming out, and it's really nice to have that. It sounds like it's gonna be a set of collective information,
Mm,
and it seems like it's not even. Um, it would help generations after us, and that's how I saw it when I talked to Rada. I'm like, this is cool how we are writing this now, and it may not be for this generation, it might be for the next generation to find out, how their ancestors have, even my grandkids probably, or grandkids. I was even visioning that to for them to see there's ways to be able to enjoy. I think every one of us is looking for that full expression, as I mentioned a while back in another interview. So for that full expression to happen, we really have to uh, work on ourselves, and this is one of them. So I know a lot of people are working on themselves right now. So if you want to be part to go deeper into that, this might be a place for you. So I recommend looking into the collection of books and projects that the Rada publishing team has for the next few years. So if you want to be part of that, I think they attract the right people. So if you're that person, soulful, has I guess has the heart to be able to share their journey so that others can learn from their journey, and
mhm.
their healing. So if you're that person, be part of the the
Yeah,
collective.
it's definitely like a legacy. I get where you're going with that because a lot of people will read these books when it's meant for them, when the time is right. Sometimes things come into your life, right when you need it, and other times it comes
Exactly.
soon. And but you'll remember, you're like, oh, I, saw this
Right.
before, but it didn't really click. And then later,
Yeah.
little timing. So yeah, and it's the same thing with the modality. You might be intrigued or interested, but it might not be the right time. And then
Right.
timing's
Exactly.
right, you'll
Hmm.
you'll be there. So I just love you. I want to thank you so much for your time and
Oh,
um,
thank you for your time too. I'm so
yeah,
excited to share. So excited to hear back from you. So thank you.
well, we look forward to reading your chapter, and I will be sure to link all your information down below. And of course, all the information on how you can contact Maya directly and the book. And until then, take care. Thank you.
You too. Thanks.